stepping into it for the first time, I can't look at you while we do this.
Okay, go ahead.
Stepping into it for the first time was crazy. I mean, I remember the first time we were together and we went into the arena and we went into...
I didn't even do anything that time. That's you.
And we went into the village. There was a version of this movie where they could have just CG'd everything. And so I think the fact that they made such hyper-realistic practical sets. I mean, there was one day where they even had a fish. Stop, I'm going to finish this. They had a fish. There was a really weird smell on set in the village. And we're like, what is that? It smells awful. And they were like, oh, it's the fish hut.
Yeah, they built like a fish house.
And we were like, what do you mean, a fish hut? And we went in and there was like raw fish, rotten, hanging all over the house. And then a fan.
They put into
and then a fan blowing it into the village. And we were like, why are you doing this? And they were like, for ambience, for the vibes. And me and Mason were like, turn off the fan. It was horrible. But it really does make it so that when you're on set, it's just, you're totally in it. And it was very, very...
Yeah, it was really easy to really just step on set and they really put you in that world. So it wasn't much...
You don't have a choice.
It wasn't too hard on that end, so it was nice.
I was nervous. I don't know about you guys. I was, I grew up with these films and I loved them. So I guess... everything was kind of, I was like a little kid inside, but outside I was quite cool, calm and collected.
Yeah, you came across super.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks, I appreciate it.
We started on the biggest set and we sort of worked our way down, sort of. Not
no, because then we went to the...
Then we went to the village.
Yeah.
Oh.
So actually we started on it was a roller coaster.
But yeah, it was sort of like the most daunting ones earlier on.
And it kind of felt like... in a way, in the nicest way possible, like we were touring the sets. I remember we did the tour and they're like, yeah, we've had like 1,000 guys like working on this village and there's like 90,000 different house panels and you go, yeah, my job doesn't feel as important right now because how much effort and like, heart and soul is going
so
into
many moving parts.
And like the tapestries and things like that. It's like amazing, like hand-woven tapestries.
Like the history of the Berk and stuff.
And so I think even just like stepping into that world where you know how much skill and like love has gone into every single component. It was like, better remember my lines.
Yeah.
And sometimes they did.
Dean took me around and said, here's the biggest Viking ship ever built, and here's your great hall, which felt like a mini skyscraper, and look, here's the arena, which felt like the Colosseum, and here's Berk, and then you see them all dressed up and lit and filled with life and breathing, and the heart is pumping, and all this. It is, you don't get. I've never had those opportunities before to transport so much into a world, and like if that's happening for me, I 100% know that when that world is augmented and finished, then the audience are going on such a ride.
For me, the first thing I shot was in the training arena, and I hadn't really I'd seen the outside of it, and I hadn't seen much of it, and then I had like a big dialogue-heavy scene my first day, and then I got onto the set and they open these huge, massive doors, which apparently they found the wood that they used to make the doors in the bottom of the sea in Belfast Harbour. So you can't really see it, but if you look at the doors, all the wooden doors have little barnacles on, and you just look at them thinking, this is amazing, it's incredible. But I had to do a scene in front of all the Viking extras and all the crew, and it was really nerve-wracking, It was. I said to Dean, the director, "Can you see me trembling?" He's like, "No, it's fine." But it's a lot, It's a lot to. I think you have to kind of wrangle that part of your brain, which is the bit that's traditionally used to keep you alive if you come across like a male gorilla in the jungle or a wolf. It's the bit that says "run." I think you have to learn to harness that and tell it that it's fine, you're all right, you're fine, you're not a real dragon.
3, 2, 1, action.
Oh my god, I have one of yours that I was really surprised by how upset it made me, but it was so brilliantly acted by you. But for anyone that hasn't seen it, I won't say what it is, but at the end, something happens with Mason and he makes a discovery about himself. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Discovery
I'm talking
about himself. Yes, I know.
And you were so heartwarming and so brilliant. And I think that it was something that I really love that they, in live action, were able to kind of a moment to give more breath to. And it was so so special, and it really made me, I could get emotional speaking about it now. It was really, really wonderful.
Thank you.
There's a scene when me and Gerard are in the Great Hall and he's addressing the Vikings, and then they all file out, and then we kind of pan across to see Gobber's left, and they have like a big conversation about, you know, you're not going to be around to protect him every day. I loved shooting that. I loved the fact it was just me and Gerard and Dean, and we sat and we talked about it for ages, and we rehearsed it, and we were like, well, maybe we were, but it felt like we were making a film, you know, even though the hall was enormous, and you kind of, if you were to stop and look around, you get a real sense of the size of it. But once it's just you and the other actors and the director and the DOP, and you're doing that kind of walk in terms of this, I stand here, and then you come through here, and that felt amazing. And then, you know, I'm a fan of actors. I love to work with actors, and I love to watch what they're doing. And there is a part of me that if I do my work right, if I do enough planning, I don't seem to have to act. It just happens, you know. My brain just does it, which allows me to look out through my eyes at Gerard Butler acting, and I'm like, that's Gerard Butler acting. You know, I can enjoy his performance at the same time, you know. And I love that. That's why I really like that scene.
I think the scene that is most poignant is when Hiccup is listening to his father regale all of the Vikings of Berk on essentially his graduation day. And he's talking about his pride for his son, but he's also making jabs at him. And as everybody's laughing, we put the camera on Mason's face, and you could see the way that mockery and that ridicule was affecting him. And I thought it was so truthfully done that it was very stirring, because I was a kid like that, you know. And I think anyone who's ever been an outsider will respond to Hiccup from that point of view.
Now the spinning. Thank you for nothing.
Just trying to make each other giggle. That's sort of it. It's just like knowing what was lovely is like very early on, like knowing what would sort of make each other go. And
Yours
trying
was,
to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Which I'd love you to do on camera, actually.
And I'm not trying to flatter anyone, but these are very good people, and it was very enjoyable. And I think everyone here has like worked with people, and you're glad you're not working with them anymore. Like, let's be honest. Like, but with these people, it's like, you know, I enjoyed going to set. We all stayed in the same apartment. Well, not the same apartment, but the same apartment building.
I was in yours.
Yeah, we were in the same bed, actually. It was quite nice.
Top and tail.
Yeah.
But no, it was totally that. It was such an easy and lovely dynamic, and also because being on set, you're spending so much time together, and especially it was filmed in January in Belfast. It was freezing, and so it was just sort of like just manic jokes being told that I'm sure if we heard them again, we wouldn't be able to remember where they came from, or even if they were funny. But at the time, hilarious.
Yeah.
And it was like we were there for a little while before the like adult characters got there, so it did feel a little bit like the parents weren't home.
Yeah.
Nice. And then they all got here, and we were like, well, okay, Gerard Butler.
Yeah, we did kind of feel like, oh, you know, we had a little group on set, and we were excited to see each other, and so I think it was nice.
When you're doing the animation, sometimes you got to go for a more generalized idea. You know, you only have your voice, so you're kind of like, here's the point we're making here. Here's the point we're making, and it works and it's powerful. But here, you can give 5 colors, all these nuances sometimes in one word. You can express your grief, your self-deprecation, your command, all in the same moment. So I feel like, and I don't just mean that for me, but for all the actors, that you're wringing a lot more out of each moment. And again, I just watched it again the other night, and that's what I was thinking. There's story within story within story in every character, in every moment. There's not a moment wasted, and and it feels like every moment is infused with meaning or joy or entertainment or thrill or fear or emotion, you know, and it's rare. I gotta say, even in all my movies, I might go, that's great. Oh God, it just dropped away. Oh, that's good. This movie never drops. You know, you're always engaged, compelled, moved, and that was great to be a part of that challenge.